Sorry for the delay. That took a moment for the stream to get started. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the 11th week of stretch session now. And I guess we'll have some helicopters involved today. And Baltazar is excited. Okay, so find a comfortable seat. We're going to move laterally a bit today. So just make sure you have space on either side of you. That means I will need that space over there. Yeah. Okay. Sunday, we will be doing another Zoom workshop, a core conditioning workshop. So we'll focus here, and workshops are a little different than my classes. I get to interact with people on Zoom, which is a lot of fun. So derekbarris.com/yoga has that information, as well as donation links to these classes and any other schedule information you might need. So to start, you'll just find a cat and move it around. Yeah, okay. So take your hands behind you, bend your knees, and we're going to do a good amount of twisting and rotational work in our stretching today. So begin by dropping your knees side to side here. I've recently added some more songs to my Greatest Shavasana playlist, which I find to be a good playlist for the Thursday classes. The regular playlist is great, but not so much for stretching, unless that's your thing, which is fine as well. Oh, he's frisky today. His brother's off getting a dental cleaning, so I guess he's going to bother me for a bit. Okay, and as you center off, stretch your legs out, and then bend your right knee. So your left leg is straight here, and prop yourself up with your hands behind you. Oh boy, sorry. And then drop your right knee over to the right, and then bring your right knee over to the left here. Let's get our QL ready here for some movement. Okay, he's off. About two more here. Okay, now next time your right leg goes over to the left, go ahead and drop down onto your left forearm and then extend your right leg out to the side. Okay, so we're in this little twisting position, and now I'm pushing my left forearm down. Take your right foot to meet your left foot, and then pull your right foot up to your left knee, and then extend it out to the side. So you're creating a triangle here with your right toe on the ground. So in this twisting position, just warming up your right thigh here for a few rounds. And you can try to drop your right shoulder back a little bit if you want to make it a little more intense. Now once you get to your left knee again, pause, and then do it the opposite direction. Reach your foot down, and then out, and then in. And as with any movement, you're just trying to make a smooth movement here, not really speeding through. Last one. Okay, and then come back to center with that leg, and then cross your right ankle over your left thigh for a half ankle to knee here. And we're going to do a few cat-cow rolls, so pull your heart forward, and then you're going to round forward, fold over your right leg, and then curl back up, and lift your heart. And then round forward. Flex your left foot if you want a little bit more here. Inhale, rolling up. Exhale, extending out. We'll take two more. Next time you fold out over your leg, just take a few breaths here. So flexing both feet now, lengthen your heart forward, about 5 breaths. I'm kind of letting my right tricep rest on my right, just below my knee there to give it a little weight to the stretch. 2 more deep breaths. And curl back up. And bring your right foot down, crossed over your left thigh. Now lift your left arm up, take your left elbow outside of your right thigh, and if you can, bring your palm down. So almost like you were gonna just pop into side crow, but we're not. That's not this type of class. I just want you to pulse here. So bending your elbows a little bit, and then pulsing out of it. And you're using your left elbow into your outer right thigh here. Create a little bit more stretch, especially as you come forward. See if every time you pulse down, you can come a little deeper. I'll take about 2 more. Oh, I knew he's in a mood today. 1 more. Back up. Okay. Now, take your right leg into half happy baby. And just pull that knee back, lift your heart a little, and then go ahead and straighten your right leg here. So just make it your own for a couple rounds. Maybe you want to go out to the side a bit on that right leg. Just about getting that, drawing in that length on the exhale. One more. And let it go. That's just the first thing. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna set up some pigeons today and some Gomukhasana. So we're really gonna be in the hips here as we explore this. Bend your left knee and then hands behind you to start. Drop your left knee out to the left and then just lift up and cross the knee over and play with that. And again, I feel the external rotation and then the internal rotation from my hip. And I also feel mostly my mid to lower back, especially around my QL, which is why I love twisting sequences like this. 1 more. And then bring your knee across, pause. Now your left knee is over to the right, and then you just come down onto your right forearm. And your left hand can stay back, find a comfortable place for it, and extend your left leg out. And then drop your left foot to your right foot, bring your left foot up to your right knee, and then extend it out from the hip. So creating that triangle again. And I just like to have my big toe on the ground here. Then move through this. I'll take about 2 more. And then once you get that out, we're going to reverse direction for 5. So foot in, and then down, and then across. Last 2. And 1. Pull it back up, prop back up to center, and come up. And then cross your left ankle over your right thigh here. And before we fold, just taking 5 rounds of cat-cow, so a little heart forward, inhale. Now you can fold, a little rounding on the exhale is okay. Inhale, curling up. Exhale, lengthening out 2. And close your eyes if that's comfortable, 3 more. As you come out now, just again about 5 deep breaths. Flexing through both feet will give you a little bit more to work with here. 2 more breaths. And as you curl up, and take that left foot down outside of your right thigh, lift your right arm up, and then see if you can bring your elbow outside of your thigh. Maybe your palms will come down. And then again, just pulsing here, so bending a little bit and then straightening. Again, not really giving you a number here or a time. You can come down low, prop back up. But every time I'm just trying to lower a little bit, and I'm using that tension of my right elbow into my left thigh to create a little bit more stretch. I'll take about 2 more. And as you come back up, taking your left hand to your left foot and finding that half happy baby. And again, just rolling it out, extending through your leg here, playing with different angles. Okay, and then release that leg. Okay, so we're going to keep going in that manner. I'll try to play with a little bit more rotational work. So to begin, bring your feet together, and you can fold in a little bit. We're going to do our external rotation series here. So from your inner thighs, externally rotate your thighs so that maybe your pinky toes come to the ground, and then from your femur bone here, rolling back up. So playing with that. And of course, you can see the action is originating. We can't see, but from here, from the femur, and then the ankles turn at the end. So if you're going to grab your feet and help that, make sure you're only helping the end of the stretch. It's the beginning. You still want to originate the movement from your hip socket. Take about 2 more. Okay, and come back up. Now we'll start again with the right leg, so bending your right knee, and then grabbing your right foot with both hands now. Pull your knee to the right side of your chest, and try to keep your knee pressing into your chest here, and lengthen your spine. Now if you can, your knee stays touching your chest-ish. You don't want it to come too far forward. Just start to extend your right leg up, and then rebend it. So very targeted hamstring stretch here. Extend up through your heel and rebend. Just 2 more. Okay, last one, extend up, pause. So now we're in a hamstring stretch. And if your right leg is not straight, that is not a big deal. You can also take your hands behind your calf or behind your hamstring. So it doesn't have to be your foot you're holding here. You want to think more about lift and length. Let's take about 3 more breaths here into the back of your right leg. From there, take your left hand, outside of your right foot, and then come back onto your right form. So now your right form is over to the right, and then bring your leg across and back. So pulsing there. And using that arm now to help, get that right leg across. One more. And then propping back up. Now, let's go for that external rotation. So you're going to bend your right knee. Take your right hand under your right calf muscle, and either hold the outside of your right foot or wrap around to the inside of your right foot, and then start to kick that leg straight and pulse that a few times before we hold. Now, if you don't want to cross under your thigh, you can also hold outside and work this way, right? So that's a little more gentle. You'll actually have a little more space. It's not as intense. So just know that is an option. This is obviously this little compass variation is a little more intense. And then open and then breathe. I like to take my left hand to give a little more, making it feel like compass. So basically that tension of my right leg on my bicep here is helping to create stretch in that right leg. But if I were to let it go and open up, I just get a different stretch. That's not wrong right now. Let's take about 2 more breaths wherever you are. Now take your right leg, extend it out to the right, and bend your left knee. Put it into Janu Shirshasana. And then just kind of moving your body side to side here, again, getting into that lower back area. I'm going to flex my right foot now, purely in the hamstring. Lengthen out, fold over your right leg. So just think of your left knee dropping to the ground and then pulling back, and then your right heel driving forward, but you're pulling your right hip back simultaneously, and that's helping to create a little more stretch in the back of your right leg. If your right knee is bent right now, totally fine. Let's take about 5 deep breaths from now over that right leg. All right, and then curl back up. And there's Osiris because he likes the sunshine. Keep your left knee bent. You may need to straighten it. It's his 20th birthday month, so give him what he wants. You're going to take your right leg across and come into Gomukhasana now. So your right knee is over your left knee. Now again, this is an intense pose, so you may need to straighten your left leg and do half Gomukhasana, which is totally fine. If you have a block nearby, you can take it. As you may see, I know I'm wearing black and the sun is here, but as you may see, my knees are not together, and usually I sit on a block. For today, it feels pretty good, so I'm just going to let gravity be my friend here as I lengthen over my right leg, and then my upper body weight helps to weigh down that right thigh, and then I'm just going to breathe into this for a few moments. Same idea if your left leg is straight. You can do half Gomukhasana and still have the same feeling in the right hip. It'll be a little different in the left leg. Every exhale, just try to soften a little more. We have a few more breaths here. Take 2 more deep breaths. Curl back up. Oh, that felt good. Lift your right leg out and then stretch both legs out. Shake it up. Okay, so second of 3. So we're, like I said, building towards this pigeon sequence. Now, bend your left knee And take both hands, wrap your left foot at the bottom, and then pull your left knee to your chest. Or do your best with it. You can hold again behind your thigh or your calf muscles, and then just try to keep that knee drawing in, try to keep your heart lifting, and then stretch your left foot up, and then rebend, pull it in. It's a pretty small movement here, but I feel plenty of work in the back of my left leg when I work through it. Two more. And last one, we'll hold for a few breaths in that hamstring stretch. Again, holding where you can, lift your heart up, and then drive your left foot up. Two more breaths. And then soften your knee. Again, you can just take the inside of your left foot, right? Work that way, or wrap underneath and grab the inside or outside of your foot. And just playing for a couple of times with that external rotation from your left hip. Okay, last one. We'll hold for a few moments here. Again, either you're going inside and straightening the leg more, or using the tension of that wrap under your calf there to create more stretch. Take about two more breaths. Go ahead and release your wrap. And take that left leg right out to the left there. So you're in a straddle pose for a moment, and then bend your right knee in for Janu Shirshasana. Turn over your left leg, flex your foot, lengthen out, fold over your leg, and breathe in the forward bend. Again, your right knee is reaching toward the ground and then back. Your left heel is flexed, so you're pressing forward, but then pull back on your left hip. Legs are very strong, both of them, nice and stable. And then let your upper body lengthen over your left leg, and then breathe. Three more breaths. And lift back up. Now I do know, or I remembered now that I forgot that little twisting move. We'll get to it at the end of the sequence. You're going to lift up, take your left knee over your right knee at center here, and find your Gomukhasana. Now again, you may straighten your right leg, but we'll also, since we have the knees bent, we'll go knee over knee. Now if this is enough, you can stay upright. Otherwise, let your body weight work for you. Lengthen out, and then breathe, opening that left hip, and then if both knees are bent, you'll also bend that right hip a bit. Take about 4 more deep breaths here. Okay, curl back up. Extend your legs out, and then we'll go into that one I forgot. So you bend your left knee, and you take the outside of your left foot with your right hand, and then lean back onto your left forearm. Right? And then this is just a pulsing movement. We go across, and then back. So cross meaning to the right here. I know I'm not mirroring you. So if you do use me as a reference to see things, as long as you do both sides, that's what matters here. And then try to push into your left forearm. So you're not just leaning on the elbow. Always want to avoid that, right? If you're ever on your forearm and you just feel all the weight on your elbow, push down through your wrist, right? 2 more here. So getting that whole arm involved, it's going to be much better for your shoulder anyway. Just keep that engagement. Okay. And then prop back up. Okay. So I'm going to transition a little bit here. What you're going to do is you're going to bend your right knee and then bring your right foot down or out first. You're going to take your left leg back here. So almost like setting up a little pigeon, which you are going to do. But before we do that, bring your hands down and then come up into a lunge here. Your right foot is straight out from your left knee. Ideally, it might be a little forward. So we've done this before in these stretch classes. Your right knee is tracking over your right foot. And that's really the goal here, is just to bend enough to get the knee over the middle of the foot. The more externally rotated you can be, the better. So you should actually feel a bit of pigeon in that hip here as you prep that hip. Now your knee can come as far forward over your foot as you'd like, as long as your heel stays down. So when I get to right here, I'm driving my heel down at the same time. About 2 more. Good. Now from there, we're going to come back and bring your hands down, and then you're going to let your right knee open out to the side and then come back down. So now we're in this gentler pigeon, which we will get to a more intense one. So what I see here is my left knee and my left hip. Right, I have about a 90-degree angle, and then I'm turning over my right leg, and then just folding, and this should feel like a very gentle pigeon. Now what I like about this is that my right sitting bone, or my outer thigh at least, is on the ground, so it's a little different than a normal pigeon. And as my right hip is down, I'm slightly twisted over my right leg, and then I'm consciously trying to imagine my left inner thigh touching the ground. And as soon as I create that action, which is my left inner thigh turning down and in and my right hip pulling back, then I will create more stretch in that right hip. So not as intense as pigeon, we'll get there. We'll take a few breaths here. Three more breaths. Now we're just going to transition into a normal pigeon from here. So turn and then rotate so that you're now in your half pigeon. Left leg is straight back, and again, this is a gentler class, so just coming down, folding over that leg, and we'll breathe here for about a minute or so. You want to feel your outer left hip wrapping forward, and your right sitting bone drawing in and back, and you should feel that magic of pigeon start to happen. From there, you can lengthen out. I'm not going to crush Osiris, so I'm just going to stay on my forearms here and let him enjoy the sun today. Take about 4 more breaths. Okay, give me space. Okay, so as you come back up, we're coming back the way we came. So walk back, and you're gonna swing your left leg out. And then you're gonna take your right foot across again. And now we're gonna lift up and cradle your right leg. So now you've done pigeon, here's just a sitting pigeon. And give your right glute a little bit of love here. And then the higher you lift your foot up towards your armpit, the more intense it is. So if this hold is too intense, you can cradle under. Usually that's a little easier for people. If not, then you're here with me in the cradle and just pull that foot in, lift your chest up, and take a few breaths into that right glute. Now returning to half ankle to knee, or now that we've been stretching for a while, you can come into full ankle to knee pose. So setting that up, crossing your shins, make sure your right foot is slightly off of your thigh, that the foot is in flexion and not sickling. And then you can come forward, settle in, and close your eyes here for about a minute or so, and just breathe into that right hip. Take about 3 more deep breaths here. And walk back up. Okay, stretch your legs out. And that was the third sequence to pigeon. And now let's work the other side. So start by bending your left knee and then bend your right knee back behind you. I'll give you a little prop to come up. So come up onto your shins and then step your left foot out. Now again, same idea. The more forward the foot is, the easier it'll be. If you want it straight out from the hip, and then bend into that left knee. Again, when you find that depth, push your heel down. You should feel a little bit more there into that hip. About 2 more. And also I feel a bit of inner thigh, right, as I sink down into that left hip. Feels pretty nice. And then you can come over and set up that gentle pigeon. So now you can let that left knee drop down again. And I have this 90-degree thing happening here. So I'm going to flex my left foot, and this is again much gentler than pigeon as I fold over my left knee. So subtle twist there. And as I pull my left hip back, it's really that inner right thigh. And imagine that coming to the ground. So keep that action. And then breathe into that left hip. So as you see, we've done basically 4 versions of pigeon, 4 different versions. So this is the most gentle. It's just setting us up for the other ones. And take about 3 more breaths. Okay, so from here you just walk your hands back and you pull into that half pigeon here, and then come onto your forearms or down onto your chest. Wrap your right hip forward, pull your left sitting bone back, and then just take the next minute or so here, breathe into your left glute. Two more deep breaths here. Should bring your hands back, drop over to the left, swing that right leg out, cross your left ankle over your thigh. Okay, so third version, which is the seated version, the cradle pigeon. So you can grab under your shin or cradle here and just give a little rocking to start. And then again, if you can get that foot up higher, you'll feel more, and then just pull that foot in, lift your chest up, take a few deep breaths here. Now you can keep that right leg straight or come into full ankle to knee for the fourth version of pigeon here. And sitting up tall feels good. You can just close your eyes and let that hip sink, or you can use your body weight to come forward. We got about 3 more deep breaths here. Curling back up. Okay, stretch out, shake out your legs. And then we're gonna walk around our cat. We're gonna open up into a straddle pose here for just a moment. And so feeling all of that openness, hopefully in your inner thighs. And then from there, walk forward. Now you want to keep your feet flexed here, so drive through your heels. If your knees are a little bent, that's great. If you have any pain on the back of the knees, you can always roll up towels and put it under, or blankets under your knees, and that should alleviate some of that. And come onto your forearms. You can crawl out here. And then just imagine like a standing fan pose. Flex your feet as if you were standing on the ground. Lengthen your heart, just like any forward bend. And then release your neck. Take some deep breaths here into your inner thighs, your rotator muscles. And of course, plenty of hamstring happening here. Take about 4 more deep breaths. Every exhale, see if you can soften down a little bit more, lengthen down, I should say. Curl back up to sit and extend your legs out. Now, you're going to take your left shin, bend it back, and then either just cross your right shin in front of your left or stack on top, half lotus, full lotus, whatever works for you here. Now, you're going to lift your arms up to begin, lengthen, and then take your left hand outside of your right thigh for a gentle twist, right hand behind you. And then sit up tall in your inhale, lengthen the crown of your head up. As you exhale, draw your navel in and twist a little deeper. And 2 more breaths. Rotate back to center. I know this has been very, very about the hips here today, and sort of my intention coming in. Let's give a little love to our shoulders. So you're going to interlace your hands and then press your hands up. Inhale. Now as you exhale, pull your hands to your chest and then push them out and round your back. You can drop your head. So as you inhale, you pull your hands to your chest, sit up, and then stretch up. And then exhale, pull in, and then round 2. We'll do 5 rounds. Inhale. Two more. Just notice how you crossed your fingers, because when we do this on the other side, exhale, we're going to obviously switch it to be even here. Inhale. Exhale. Now, come up tall to sit. Take your hands behind you. Lift your chest. Maybe lift your hips up and come up towards your knees. Take 3 breaths. Little almost baby camel here. And sit back down. Okay, so stretch your legs out. And we're going to switch that up. So taking your right shin back. And whatever you did, if you just crossed your shins or took a half or full lotus, we'll switch that up. Stretch your arms up. And take your right hand outside of your left thigh, left hand behind you. Again, sit up tall, press through your sits bones evenly. Lengthen, and then as you exhale, navel in, twist. Coming back to center. As you interlace your hands, take the opposite pinky across and then stretch up. Hands to chest, exhale, push away. 1. Inhale, in, up. Exhale, 2. And 3 more rounds. Last two. Final one, inhale. And exhale. And as you come up, take your hands behind you. And again, just prop up, lift your chest, or press your hips up and come up onto your knees a bit. 3 breaths. And sit back down. Stretch your legs out, shake them out. And then coming into, I'm going to take Tadasana. Feels good, diamond pose, feet together. So we have this diamond from ankle to knees to hips. If you want to pull into Baddha Konasana, you may. I'm going to keep it a little more gentle today. And then you're going to fold in over your feet. If you're in Tadasana, if you're in Baddha Konasana, same idea. Pull your heart forward, lengthen, and breathe. Just lengthen a little bit. You can stay here for another few breaths if you want. I'm just going to lengthen my legs out and then fold right from there into Paschimottanasana. See if you can take your 5 deepest breaths of this practice today right here. Curling back up. I invite you to lie back and rest for a few minutes in Shavasana and just let all that settle. You can also cross your legs and take a seated meditation. I will leave you here. I feel pretty good and stretched out after that. I hope you two do as well. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. I will see you on Saturday for a core flow. And again, if you're interested, Sunday is core conditioning workshop at derekbarris.com.